Alrighty, this is the first video we've done in a while. Relocated now to my good friend Robert Ginsberg, aka Johnny, in West Palm Beach. And he's been very generous to let me use his garage as a garage galley studio to do a few cooking demos. We're just going to fool around here. Today we're going to do shrimp and grits. Classic southern dish that I've eaten a million times, but honestly I have never prepared. So this is a Yankees version of classic shrimp and grits. We have some beautiful organic stone ground white, actually says speckled white grits. As a Vermonter, of course, I have my Cabot cheddar, my Cabot butter. We're using whipped cream and chicken stock. We are in lockdown, so I don't have any fresh chicken stock, but can will do just fine. A little bit of parsley, onion, garlic, andouille sausage. Now you could go a million different directions with that. You could use bacon or tasso ham. Really an individual taste. I'm adding some poblano chili, just because I love roasted poblano chili. We have some farm-raised tiger shrimp. The Southerners would scoff at that. Of course, down in the Gulf, they're going to use those beautiful, fresh white Gulf shrimp, the wild shrimp. And I simply have a little gas stove, and let's make a go of it. I'll give you a quick demo, and we'll see how it all comes out. All right, like I said, I've never made shrimp and grits before, but essentially, from my perception, grits are very much like polenta. I went to YouTube, I saw many videos, I read a few recipes, I made a phone call to Louisiana, consulted with my good friend Larry Gilbo as to his thoughts on grits, shrimp and grits, and he pretty much confirmed what I believe. A lot of the recipes I saw were just water and milk. In this case, we're using chicken stock. I'm using a canned chicken stock. I prefer to use fresh, but out of necessity, I'm using a can, which is fine. I'll finish it with a little bit of heavy cream and put a little butter in there. Black pepper. Now, some of the other preparations, you would, if you're using perhaps a tasso ham or you're using bacon, you might cook the bacon, tasso ham, then cook your shrimp in that, and make a little bit of a sauce with it. Basically what we're doing is we're making polenta, or the grits, cheese grits in this case, with the chicken stock, butter, ground black pepper. I'm using some andouille sausage in there. The poblano chili. And our grits. We're going to stir that, we're going to cook that all up just like you would, say, even oatmeal. You take your liquid, bring it up to temperature, stir in your oatmeal or your polenta, in this case grits, and then we're going to let that thicken. And that may take anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. Since this is my first time around with this, we're kind of learning as we go. Alrighty, here we have our white grits. And for those of you who don't know what grits are, it's cornmeal. In this case, it's coarse ground, organic, stone ground, and white. Here we have our chicken stock, a little bit of butter, poblano, andouille sausage, boiling away. I don't have any exact measurements. I'm just going to kind of wing it. I have a good sense for this. Like I said, it does take a while for this to absorb. I'm guessing 20 minutes or so. And we're not going to boil it. We got to turn this down to a very light simmer and just let it go. Well, our grits have been cooking now for 40 minutes, and to my taste, they're still a little underdone. What do we do sometimes? I'll even do it with oatmeal or polenta. I may just take it off the heat and let it sit and absorb that extra moisture. I'm going to add a little cream right now, just a couple tablespoons. Gonna add the lid, and we're gonna check up on it in another 10 minutes. Alrighty, our grits have been cooking now for 50 minutes. As I said, this is my first go around with grits, and to me, they still seem a little undercooked. And the only term I could really come up with is they're a little bit gritty. Perhaps that's why they call them grits. I don't know. But it's still quite delicious, very delicious, just a little gritty. At this point, we're going to add the cheddar. So we're going to go to our walk-in refrigerator. And we have some grated Vermont Cabot cheddar, extra sharp. Can't emphasize that is Vermont Cabot cheddar. My buddy from Louisiana, Larry, he suggested a combination of Fontina and Gouda. I said, well, you know, I got Vermont cheddar in the house, so that's where we're going with it. Not exactly sure how much, but I love my Vermont cheddar, so. Rightio. We're going to push that to the side, and then we're going to get going on our shrimp. Okay, that's looking pretty good. We've got our garlic, a little bit of butter, Vidalia onions, and now we're going to add our prawns or shrimp. A sprinkle of salt. Grind a little bit of pepper. Can't do that one-handed. And then we're going to deglaze with a little bit of chicken stock, a little bit of butter, some fine herb, and that's going to go right on top of our grits. Okay, that looks pretty good. We don't want to overcook our shrimp. Again, I'm using some canned stock. Preference would have been a nice shrimp stock or lobster stock. I don't have that available. Don't like going to the nearest supermarket during the COVID situation. As you see, I put in some whole butter in there. The terminology we use for that in the restaurant business is mounting the sauce with butter. That does a couple things for us. First off, butter tastes good. Now, this isn't health food. The other thing it does is it thickens the sauce and gives it a nice creamy texture. And our fiend herb today is just parsley. You could use a combination of whatever combination that appeals to you. If I had some fresh chive right now, I probably would add some fresh chive as well. I'm filming this one-handed, so it's not as easy as it may look. Okay, I think that looks good. Now we're going to finish up the dish. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to take some of that delicious grits, put it in the bottom of the plate, spoon some of this over it, and garnish it with some chopped chives. Let's see what we end up with. And there we have it. My very first attempt at shrimp and grits. We'll bring it up to Chef Johnny. See what he says about it. What do you think, Steve? Jack? Chris? Looks pretty good to me.